Hello, and welcome to A Filthy Talk. I'm back, baby. I'm Trevor Gemma, your host. This is AFL's weekly live panel discussion show, live from A Filthy Lot Studios in North Vancouver. And with me today, Roz Young, and as fact checker, Ryan Whyte. Oh, spoiler alert. And we're going to be doing things a little bit differently here today, a little switch to format, switching things up. And at first, we're just going to talk about a couple of things new in the news, especially geek-specific news.
I mean, we can talk about all kinds of news, but the things we mostly care about are kind of geeky, nerdy related.
Indeed.
What's going on in your world?
Well, the thing that I'm the most excited about as of late, and it's today is significant too, is the release on Disney Plus of WandaVision. It's kicking off everything for the new phase of everything in the MCU, and I'm super excited about it.
Me too. I love couples, especially superhero couples, in all sorts of, in comic books, TV shows, movies. And I used to read some of the comic books about.
Of WandaVision?
Yeah. Well,
like
them as a married couple.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch and Vision.
So
series.
great, because like Ant-Man and the Wasp in the movies, so good, but you don't see that stuff a lot. And a lot of us have partnerships in our lives where, yeah, if I got superpowers or I suddenly was a vampire, why wouldn't I just do that for my partner too? And then like, we're both awesome.
Yeah, I guess that the reason I'm the most excited about that show is the fact that they've stated it's going to now officially fully tie into the MCU, that everything is like, those events of that series are going to directly affect Doctor Strange and the next Spider-Man movie and all that stuff. I'm really looking forward to it.
Also looks super cool.
It does. It looks really good.
Yeah.
What about you?
I know that you are not caught up, but I watched the finale of season 3 for Discovery, and holy moly!
Yeah?
Yeah, what a season, man. Woo.
I'm only on season 2 of Ryan. Yeah, what's up?
I was gonna say, I was not at all sold on that show in the first season. And then by the second season, it had started to win me over. And by the end of the third season, I was like, holy fuck, Star Trek's back. Like,
right?
That was a great finale
I don't know
of a
that
Star
the
Trek
season,
show.
like, I don't know that season 3 was super consistent. Like, there were some subplots and some storylines where I was like, I don't know, man, what's going on here? I don't give it, go back to this main, like, but the A plot line of that season was so good. And mirrored with Georgiou's story was like, so good. And then, yeah.
They did this thing where, like, it started out and it didn't feel like Star Trek. And then, like, they kind of like kicking and streaming.
You say streaming a lot, I get it, it's your
Kicking and screaming, like, drug you along on this process where, like, they kind of like tricked you into thinking it wasn't going to be Star Trek, and then they're like, but actually it's going to be more Star Trek than Star Trek because we're going to earn it.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
See, I really like the first season. I like the fact that it's more serial and less episodic, because it is just one continuing sort of.
And they stay with that through
plot.
season 3, but I think they do a really good job.
And they did the same thing with Picard.
Yeah.
And I like it. I like having essentially consistent storytelling in that world where typically it's been episodic and like Adventure of the Week kind of thing.
Sure, but I think Ryan's totally right. Earning Star Trek, because there's that feel of, there's especially the original series, but there's old episodes where it's like, what? There's a weird alien. They make fun of it on like Futurama all the time. So I'm like, oh, there's a weird alien guy who's this cloud, and what's happening here? And is this science or is this just magic bumbo jumbo? But in the third season, they get into some things that are just like, what the fork is that? And they do, I think, a great job with it.
Well, I'm gonna have to catch up because you've sold me.
Yeah. Also, Grudge the cat, 11 out of 10 would pet.
What?
There's a cat, and she's really cute.
Oh, okay.
And very grumpy.
I thought this was a new scale of approval that you were trying to introduce on my cat scale.
We need a cat scale. Can we get on that, everyone? Yeah, cat scale.
So another little piece of news pertaining specifically to A Filthy Lot is coming soon. We will be actually introducing 2 new channels. We're going to be dividing up our content a little bit. We'll have more details on that to come, probably coming on Filthy Talk in the weeks to come. So as we know more, you'll know more. So stay tuned.
We're people who get really excited, and it's hard to focus sometimes. We just love lots of things.
Yeah, and previously we've been just pumping it all into our main channel. We're just going to be sort of like, just sorting out, a little housekeeping, basically.
We're gonna Marie Kondo?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? We're gonna spark some joy.
So last piece of business is we have another giveaway. So courtesy of VIAVISION, we have the Expanse box set on Blu-ray of seasons 1 through 3. So this is a giveaway for you, the viewer at home. The way to qualify is to be a subscriber to A Filthy Lot on YouTube. And on this video, not in the live chat, but on the actual video on YouTube, you can comment something funny or whatever if you want to, maybe score some brownie points. But put Expanse Giveaway, and you will qualify for this, which we will give away next week on Filthy Talk. So
That
if
is
you wanna get your hand on this.
another great example of a show that's earned it. Man, earned it.
Indeed.
Started out being one thing and just came around. It was like, we're going to be sci-fi and noir. And then it was like, yeah, that's not working so good. We're just going to be cool, political, intrigue, sci-fi thriller. And then it was just like, now we're the best show. We're so good.
Oh, I have to catch up on this as well. I've only
Yep.
seen the first season, but
The first
I
season
want this.
didn't quite sell me, but Ryan said stick with it. And I did.
Oh.
And then Matt did because I didn't. And now we both are in.
Okay. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, A Filthy Lot Entertainment is proud to present to you our main event of the evening.
Fight!
That's right. We are having our first edition of Nerdfight. So, aside from the two of us, our contenders for the evening. Introducing first, you know him from the live chat. He's known for his controversial views on a lot of nerdy subjects. That's right, he's going to have to defend them in person. It's Ben Murray.
Woo! Bring it out, Ben!
Boo.
How's it going?
Thank you for joining us, sir.
Ben.
And next up, fighting out of the blue corner, you know her from her previous appearance on A Filthy Talk and from Witchcraft Lab's costume editions. Not one to back down from a fight, it's Jessie Jade.
Da-da-da.
Bam!
Oh!
Oh, bringing the moves.
It's a fight,
Ben.
right?
It is a
we're
fight,
fist
yeah.
fighting?
Yeah, watch those kicks. Okay.
There are valuable toys on this set, Jesse.
So we.
I was holding a drink even.
That's true. Well done.
Very impressive.
So the way this is going to work is I have asked everyone on the panel to bring their most controversial opinion on something from pop culture. They'll have a chance to establish what it is, establish why they think that, and then we're going to fight about it. That's right, we're going to fight about it. So let's have a nice clean fight. No low blows, keep it above the belt. And at the end of this, we're fighting about things that don't really matter, so we'll all be friends. Yay.
Awesome.
Do either of you guys want to kick us off? Jesse, do you want to go first?
Sure.
What do you got?
So I'm
Oh,
just
Dave,
going.
they both brought cards.
Dun, dun, dun.
I get
training.
nervous sieve brain, so. So I think that capes or superheroes as a genre is boring, and we need to move on from them.
Oh, hot take.
So hot. Not like completely moving on from superheroes as like a whole, but I think as a genre it gets stale, and as a setting it can work, but it tends to be very shallow as a genre.
Okay,
Interesting.
okay.
Interesting. Okay. Now, when you say that as a genre, like that's pretty wide
Yeah.
of a berth there. Are we talking like film and comic books and all that stuff?
Film, comic books, toys.
Toys?
Whoa.
Whoa.
I didn't even think about toys until I saw
Above the
this.
belt, Jesse.
Yeah. Above the shelf. Oh man, I think that is kind of a controversial thing, especially right now. Like we're kind of at the peak of it. Like I don't think we've gotten past it.
Oh, I don't think we're. I think we're in the thick of it right now, and I think that's part of the problem.
So
is
you
creating.
wouldn't think of this as a golden age. You would think of this as we're past where that was good.
No, there's literally a golden age of comic books, and it was like a generation ago.
Yeah, but that has to do with collector stuff. That has nothing to do with storyline. Like the
Doesn't it,
the
though? Like-
storylines from the Golden Age are terrible.
But have they really changed that much? Like,
Yes.
I think my biggest thing is like it's created this huge monoculture. There's not a lot of variation with everything. There are these stagnant archetypes that are leave very little wiggle room for characters. They're also not great to women, and especially not great to like the queer community. There's like no gender nonconforming characters. It's just time to move on.
It's changing in the comic book world, you know.
So it's
Yeah.
going to take another 80 years for it to get to the.
Well, and
I mean,
it's,
the
cinematic
film world is
universe.
all like four quadrant entertainment is just derivative in general, and superheroes is now kind of just like filled that void of like, all right, we're for everybody, so it's safe, it's clean. But you like look at like '90s fucking four quadrant entertainment, it was just as garbage, and it was just as offensive. But superheroes are an easy kind of target because it's like, well, they're all big, they're loud, and people like them. So it's like, I'm so sick of Marvel movies. It's like, yeah, the 4 of them that come out a year are really annoying. Not to mention all the other garbage movies Blockbusters put out. That's not annoying because no one really talks about Ghostbusters, the female version.
Oh yeah, the
well-
internet was super quiet about that.
Does anybody talk about it now? You talk about it now, though. No.
I do. I talked about it on this show.
yeah, we've talked about that, and we plan on getting back into that at some point.
Nerdfight.
Yeah, Nerdfight.
What's the difference between the like Ghostbusters or James Bond or Wild Wild West or Independence Day or a superhero
Wild
movie?
Wild West.
Like, because the superhero movie is just essentially a hero doing superheroic things is above a human being's capabilities and trying to show the actions for it.
I think it can be relatively shallow in surface, but they've done a really good job of getting into more minutia of,
Exactly.
of how hard. I mean, look at something like The Boys.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't stick to all of the archetypes of traditional, like speaking of golden era, like super do-good or Superman who's just like, I'm the American way, like that. No. Like Homelander's infinitely more interesting than Superman.
Oh, whoa.
What?
In the hands of the right writer, Superman is cool.
Yeah, when they make him not his, like, who he is.
Yes.
What?
He's
No,
normally
Superman
written really
is
terrible.
a great
Yes.
character.
Superman is boring.
Yeah, but
He
that's
is.
who he's like as a person. He just wants to do good things and be a good person, and the world is not as good as he wants it to be or expects it to be all the time, and that's conflict.
I think the most interesting version of Superman is when they deviate from his established, like, traditional character. When they either introduce something like Red Kryptonite, or they rewrite it into like the Red Sun thing, or Man of Steel, where he was willing to murder and
Genocide his own people.
Yeah, genocide his own people. Wipe out an entire ship of
You had
Kryptonian
your
babies.
chance, Krypton.
But he becomes interesting because he becomes more like Homelander, where he is his own moral compass is how he decides to kill or not becomes absolutely terrifying.
You say he becomes more like Homelander, but Homelander is literally based on all those iterations of Superman where he goes against the grain of. But he is like.
Yeah, I know.
That's really what
Homelander's
it's based on.
terrifying, but because he's terrifying, he's interesting.
You don't find it interesting when Superman's like dealing with the moral conflict of literally not being able to be everywhere and he can't figure out what the right choice is? Because it's like these people, man, no matter how much I help them, they just keep shooting themselves in the goddamn foot.
And how much
Like,
he
you don't
just-
find that
just
interesting ever?
Wants to go home,
it's-
whether that's with his family here or the family he didn't know, because when things are hard, you just want to be somewhere safe, and he can never find that.
But
Oh,
like,
he is home. Come on. Like, I'm tired of the fact that just because his planet was destroyed, he doesn't have home. Like, that's not true. He's got loving
Built
family
a
and loving friends.
Fortress out in the ice, because like that's the same thing Dr. Manhattan does.
Oh, whatever, Broody.
oh yeah, because these concepts are so original and superheroes are so
Okay,
interesting.
okay,
And they don't
okay.
repeat their shit anytime ever. Like really, like it's just like these same archetypes. You get repeated them over and over and over again, and it gets boring. And the good versus evil bullshit, I'm so tired of it. Like there's no real way to make it that interesting to me.
That's just safe 4-quadrant 12-year-old entertainment, right? Like make
Yeah.
it for 12-year-olds who like simple morality choices. Like, yeah, it's boring, but
But
I
even
guess
kids'
it's...
entertainment can be more interesting than the
That's true.
entire MCU.
Coraline is amazing, and it's kids' entertainment and
Coraline,
more
Steven
complicated.
Universe, which is an incredible cartoon for
It has
children.
heroes.
Did you just say
That's
the
yours.
entire MCU?
No, Steven
No,
Universe.
you said the entire MCU.
I was
Like,
glossing over that, but
I am not.
and I think like there are exceptions, but in this kind of thing, exceptions prove the rule, right? And I think that's the other thing too, is if you're going with as a genre, it's really stale and boring. But if you're setting something in like a superhero setting, but using a different genre in that setting, it can be really interesting.
So do you want people to blow it up, or do you want people to elevate their game?
Well,
Write better,
really.
or like, no, fuck it all. Like, just, I don't want any more of it.
So I think like one of the main issues is that we keep doing the same thing. Like we're using the big two storylines and the big two characters. And there's only so much you can do with that. And there's always gonna be those purists who, if you even try and do anything different, they're gonna get mad at you.
Yeah.
Right? So
I think
fuck them, though.
those stupid gatekeepers.
Those people are annoying.
Yeah, they're awful.
I'm about to talk about them in a minute.
And I think that that's actually one of my favorite things about the MCU is that they are, for a lot of people who aren't comic book fans, the MCU is their first introduction to many characters.
right, but now how hard is that to get introduced to it? There's like 30 plus movies you have to watch. There's like so many comic books. It's so hard to get into it. Like if you were to tell somebody that has never read a Marvel comic or never seen a Marvel movie where to start, like that's such a complicated thing.
But it's a good journey. Like if you start
It's
watching,
a fucking long journey.
They're also simple enough that you really don't need to have seen them.
The Hobbit's
I know
been
lots
on a
of people
very
who-
long journey, and we all love it.
nothing wrong with a long journey. Long journeys are fun if they're good the whole time. I think the MCU out of
Well,
what has it
the
been, 20
MCU is
movies?
not good
Yeah.
the whole
It's
time.
not good the whole time. Iron Man 3 was awful, but
Oh, just that
Or
one.
two.
Thor 2 I don't hate as much as most people.
All right.
I thought it was fun. It was fine.
All right.
What's wrong with it?
Sure, it's fun. It's fun.
It was. I liked
It's
it.
fun.
At least it maintained the tone from the first Thor to the second one, as opposed to Ragnarok, which only shifted and pivoted and became Guardians. Of
No one
as
talks
Guardians
bad
of the
about
Galaxy.
Ragnarok in my presence.
I do. Doing it right now. It only became what it was because of the success of Guardians of the Galaxy, which was a throwaway movie for them. They were like, this isn't going to happen.
Guardians
and then
of the
suddenly
Galaxy
they shifted.
has a beautiful magical story of
Yeah.
how that script got made.
Better than
Whatever.
anything Star
No.
Wars has produced
Great
since
movie.
1983.
I really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy, but I don't think
'Cause
that
you're
it
right.
should have shifted to as Guardians of the Galaxy. That's
What?
bullshit, because the first movie they got Kenneth Branagh. You're taking Norse mythology
yeah.
characters and you're creating this like sort of high, almost Shakespearean world that they live in.
That's what they're supposed to be.
That's what they're supposed to be. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the first ones were that. The first two were that. They
Oh,
kept
but they were
consistent.
boring.
The
and
comic
Shakespeare
book
is
is
boring.
a space movie. The
What?
comic book's
What?
Thor.
It's like they're boring and Shakespeare is boring.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
The literary nerds are real mad.
But the tone of,
I'm
those,
just here to piss
of
people
what Asgard was, like why you get Anthony Hopkins to be Odin, it all worked. It was cool.
And then you put it in space, and it's even more cool.
No, but the tone completely shifted.
The
to,
comic
like,
books
And-
are all about the Asgardians being these crazy space people.
And the
Yes,
The
but
tone
they're
wasn't
not
working
like
in two,
they're
though.
not
Like,
yeah, the
Earth
one was
comedy.
already in the
shift
first
it.
one.
What?
Why not shift the tone? The tone wasn't working in two. People were like, this is a fucking long slog.
Look,
Because
he
I
can
think
only
you could
take his
do
shirt
better.
off so much before people are like, well, let's do something else.
Well, I mean, the best time he took his shirt off was in Endgame. No, Infinity War? Endgame.
No.
When he took his shirt off and he'd been drinking beer for a couple years.
I
5
definitely
years.
have the list of his shirt off up here.
But, like, Angela is a great character, and she's from the same group out in space doing cool space stuff.
I'm sorry, what? Angela? Who?
Yeah. She's in the Guardians of the Galaxy comic books.
Oh.
Asgardian.
Oh, okay.
Deep cuts.
Yeah,
It's
that's,
really
that's,
cool.
that's too deep for me.
I don't know why. If you take really cool
Just nerded
things
you.
and you put them out in space, they are more cool. That's just, I don't make the rules.
I didn't have a problem with him being in space. I had a problem with it was suddenly
With it
like
being
a
fun?
boop 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 comedy. Like it was really weird.
They also brought that to The Mandalorian, and you love that show.
So, I'm allowed to love different things on different levels.
You are totally
If
allowed.
they just, is it just the tone shift? It's like you can't acknowledge the rest of the movie as like an entertaining, well-made film. If it was the first one, Let's just put it that way. It's
If it was the first one and that's what Thor was going to be,
Yeah.
sure, I would have been fine with that. I would have been fine with Thor, but they completely shifted not just the tone of the movie, but the tone of the character. Suddenly he's like cracking wise and making jokes.
he was
and
kind of cracking wise in the.
okay, look at him in, and also okay.
I think they realized Chris Hemsworth's funny.
No. Here we go. So
allowed to be that
Ragnarok
attractive
pisses me
and
off.
that
As a
funny.
standalone film, it would have been fun. But in the overall continuity of everything, the whole tone of that, like not just tone, the whole theme of that movie was Thor needs to look inside himself because he's lost his hammer, that the power was always within him. And he essentially becomes Odin by the end of it. And then it leads directly into Infinity War. Like directly, like scene by scene.
yeah.
And in the next moment, he gets beat and he's like, useless. He can't find the power in himself anymore. He's like, I need a weapon. And then his whole journey in the very next movie is I'm useless without a weapon. It just wiped out Ragnarok.
100% agree. And I think
That
that's
means
the Avengers
Infinity War
film's
is
fault.
bad.
They always destroy the character arcs.
Nah.
Tony Stark does the exact same shit. It's like, oh, I'm gonna give up my suits. Next movie, I'm back in my suits.
I need
like,
50 suits.
Like the Avengers crossover films for some reason just like, okay, what's the arc going on? All right, fuck that. And then they just do whatever they
Well,
want.
actually, my problem with Iron Man 1, 2,
And then they
3
just
is
Black Widow for like no reason.
Yeah, no.
the only
Oh,
thing.
but Thanos needed
got
to
her own
have
movie.
feelings.
I loved Thanos. Thanos having feelings was great. Thanos, I think, is one of the most interesting villains.
I rolled my eyes so hard, I fell asleep.
I mean, it's a long
I didn't know
movie.
that was possible. Physiologically, that sounds really interesting to do a case study on that. But wait, at the
he's a
moment that he loved
sociopath.
Gamora?
Yeah.
So?
Yeah. Oh, right.
Sociopaths
That's not
can-
how. Whatever. But all the female archetypes in those movies are so fucking similar. It actually makes me so mad. But that's why I think that like
But are we
superhero
gonna have
genre
new, we're gonna yes, change is too slow.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe my favorite Squirrel Girl will show up and it'll be great.
Wait a minute. Sorry, you said Squirrel Girl. Who do
Yeah?
you want to be Squirrel Girl?
If I could pick anybody,
Yeah. Do you have a problem with Anna Kendrick? Because she
lobbying
wants
that shit
She
for
wants it
years.
so bad.
Jesus Christ. It's like one of the fun facts
She's
about it.
just
It's like, and wants to be Squirrel Girl.
Yeah.
oh, it would be great. She's great. I don't know.
That was loaded.
I don't know that she's Squirrel Girl.
Oh.
Because she's a little angry. You don't want to get her mad. See her on the other side.
Why don't we just? Okay, I don't know.
Sorry, what did you have a problem with Thanos having emotions? He's not allowed
He's
to have
supposed to
any
be a
emotions.
sociopath.
So?
He was kind of sociopath.
And he's not.
How are you supposed to trick an omniscient being that ultimately knows how you're feeling into thinking that you love something all of a sudden, which you've never given any proof that you've loved ever before that you love something, and then literally flip a switch to not loving anything ever again after that? Like, that's just a lie, and
oh.
how are you supposed to trick an omniscient being into that?
Okay, I want to get into this further, but we're going to have to do it later. I'm being told that round one, we're basically running out of time for round one of this nerd fight.
Ding 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 ding.
Ding, ding, ding. Damn, I'm surprised you didn't blow the whistle. Oh my God, I didn't say that he was our referee for the evening. I'm going to do it now. Our referee for the evening, Ryan Whyte.
That whistle tells us a lot about how Ryan feels about his introduction.
Okay, that was a good choice, because I feel riled up as hell.
Awesome.
Ready to fight this flip tables.
Oh man,
Yeah. Good job.
I'm so... The whole Thanos thing has got me.
Okay, so
You're welcome.
sidebar filthy talk.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've actually always kind of wanted to do from Iron Man to Endgame, the MCU, as a filthy talk episode. So it might
What a
happen.
great nap.
What? That's a great nap?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's fucking long. Yes.
Okay, we are moving on to the next topic. Ben, what do you got?
Star Wars is a junk film franchise. There's 2 good movies. The rest of them are
Shut your
terrible.
claps! Shut your claps!
They haven't made anything decent since 1980. Luke Skywalker is a boring character that plays as a fantasy for talented nobodies. I don't understand its place in pop culture. It should be talked about in the same breath as stuff like Terminator or Jurassic Park. It's another good one where it's like starts off real strong and just fucking.
Wait, franchise or the first movie?
Oh, the first 2 movies they're good. They're
Jurassic Park, I'm saying. You just
The
mentioned-
first Jurassic Park's good.
Okay,
The rest of them are shit.
word. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
So you're saying that Star Wars should have the relevance level
Yes.
in our pop culture biz
Yes.
that Jurassic Park or
Yeah, and-
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, even that would be great.
Okay, I don't even know where to start here.
So you're gonna be okay.
I'll be fine.
Deep breaths,
Okay.
Trevor.
More beer. What's up,
I'm
Ryan?
going to ask Ben, have you played either of the Knights of the Old Republic games?
Yes, I own both. Listen, the Star Wars universe is cool. I've played a lot of the stuff in the extended canon. I've heard a lot about it from Kedrock. He won't shut up about certain things, like Darth
Do you
Bane.
include those 2 games in your
No, I'm talking about the
junk
films.
statement?
Just
Oh,
the
okay,
films.
cool. Okay,
Just the
then
films.
we have
Just the
beef.
films.
We have
Oh.
no beef then.
No.
No cartoons?
That's children's shit. No, I don't care.
Oh.
You take that back.
This is a franchise for children. This is like, I'm not talking crazy here.
Listen, it's a
This
very
is for
dark
children.
time. We need to soothe our inner child as much as we possibly can, which is why we're having this fight, I think.
So wait, so you said nothing good since Empire? is what you're
Empire.
saying?
Yeah. The rest, like, the best.
But you're counting A New Hope is good,
Yeah. Empire's good.
Empire's good, and Return
Empire's
of the Jedi
great.
is bad. You're one of those Ewok hating motherfuckers.
Not just Ewoks, man. There's a lot of problems with that movie. Slave Leia is
Okay.
trash. Slave Leia is dumb. We shouldn't have it as relevant in pop culture as it is.
Okay, you know what's interesting about Slave Leia? Is that represents the subjugation of women and them rising up against their
I've
slavery.
heard this fucking thing so many
What's wrong with
times.
that? That's fucking great.
No, it's just her getting in a fucking bikini and a fucking skirt, and there's like, she's empowered now because,
I have
chains
to-
and shit.
I have to say, like, it is about that, but also, like, they had to make the decision to be
they
like,
probably
hey,
did it in the wrong
you
way.
super don't want to be in this thing, and you don't want to, like, do this thing, so we're going to make you wear this bikini and be super uncomfortable, but it's for the empowerment of women, so it's good.
Yeah, they found some sort of coach to talk her into it. It's like, listen, you're doing this for women.
Yeah, I'm sure that.
Also, there are
the
no
intent
bras
to
in
get
space.
her
Why
into
is
that
she
outfit
in that? Why
was
can't she
bad.
just be wearing something? Jabba's not fucking her. Why does she have to
no
be
bras
wearing
in space
this?
also happen in Alien, and you wander around in space in a tank top and some underpants, and that's just how you roll.
That's fine. I can buy the Sigourney Weaver in Alien because again, sleeping in space, you want to be comfy and you get cozy with your mates. Jabba is like, what the fuck is Jabba putting her in this shit for? Just to ogle her? He's definitely not having any kind of relations with this, and the crumb thing isn't.
Salacious crumb.
Wow, I don't know where to start unpacking all of this.
That's
I
just
know.
Jedi.
Okay,
you
wait,
want to keep going? I got a lot more.
Let's go to Ryan first. Ryan's
I
got
was
a
going
point.
to say, Ben, you obviously don't include the holiday special in your list of crap Star
No,
Wars.
that thing's brilliant.
That's the high watermark of the whole thing.
Only cocaine could bring
You
something
said
so
films.
brilliant.
Are you
together.
counting The Mandalorian amongst all of this?
Nah, The Mandalorian is the first thing that they realized what the Star Wars universe was, and it's like, oh, this is what it should always have been. And it's like, yeah, thank you for catching up 30 fucking years later.
That's fair.
Okay, I don't even know where to start.
I know, right?
I know where
It's
to start.
Okay, Jesse.
fine. Go.
I'm not going to argue with you, actually, because I agree with your point about Luke Skywalker being a fantasy for talentless nobodies. And I think that a lot of the problems that people have with Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi
Is he suddenly sucks?
is not that he suddenly sucks, is that he's like a teacher and a mentor type figure, and that is like how men should be moving on in fandom and like taking a step back. And fanboys are super fucking pissed off about that
That's
because they're like, I want to be the hero.
fascinating.
Okay.
That is fucking fascinating.
Disagree.
But-
I think that, I mean,
think that's
personally, the
accurate.
reason I have a problem with what they did with that character in that movie is you look at something like Picard, and you have your hero from The Thing. Like, regardless of what The Thing is, this is your hero. This is your protagonist, and you're coming back and revisiting a property, and you're seeing your hero now after their heyday. They've had all this time where they've gone into isolation. They're dejected. But then Picard fucking rallies himself, and he's like, I've still got something in me. And you're watching this hero now like have another version of the hero's journey, like having a purpose, something to fight for.
You
And
don't
it's-
think Luke
it's
is on the
inspiring.
hero's journey?
In The Last Jedi?
Yeah.
Fuck no.
Okay.
He's just this
That's
weird...
the only interesting one that they tried. There's like, we'll try and do something interesting with Star Wars, and everyone's like, fuck no, don't you dare. Don't you put it right back where it was. Don't you dare bring anything interesting to this franchise. It needs to be in this goddamn box, and if it breaks out of it, I'm
He's
mad.
transitioning into the role that his mentor
So
played
mad.
for him that got him where he needed to be
No,
as a
he
person.
didn't do that. He didn't mentor shit. his mentor was protecting. First of all, Obi-Wan was sitting there on the same planet,
Doing forking nothing.
watching someone who was. Oh my God. First of all, that's not true. We're about to find out what he was doing. We're getting an Obi-Wan series.
What they've
Great,
told us
thank you.
is
And
nothing.
more Star Wars fill in the blank shit. Thank
nothing-
you. Because
nothing
Rogue
that
One wasn't
matters.
awesome.
I
Let's
hope
keep to this
everybody
fill in the
shakes
blanks.
hands.
Okay.
Let's not make new stories. Let's just keep filling in the blanks.
I also have another thing to tag on.
I
to
just want
Luke's
to ask
thoughts.
something. The talentless nobodies thing.
Yes.
So you're saying that the only people who are allowed to appreciate characters are people who, for some reason, have validation
No.
and to you and your idea of if they have talent or not, whether they can appreciate a character in a film.
You can enjoy a character
Sneaking
for
below the belt, I
whatever,
think, maybe.
whatever traits you find in the character. I'm saying that a large percentage of the fan base finds the idea of being whisked away by an old man telling them that their bloodline is special fucking incredible. They're stuck in their medial lives and it's like, Jesus Christ, if only I was a
broke my
Jedi.
pen.
If only I was a Jedi. And that's what a fantasy is. There's like, Jesus, like, I hate my medial job. I hate being on the farm. Uncle Owen sucks. Just someone tell me I'm special.
But that's
Please
what
tell me I'm good.
The everyman is a classic archetype.
Yeah, and it's boring. It's a boring hero.
But I
He's
don't
just-
even think it was the hero that was the interesting thing. It was the being told that there's something mystic and ethereal that you can tap into. You
What
It's
did he
Harry
do to-
Potter.
He didn't earn. And fucking Potter sucks too. I hate Potter. Oh, Potter's great because he defeated him as a baby. Great. Oh, power of love. Fucking hate Potter. Fucking hate Potter.
What do you like?
Oh, there's lots of stuff I like.
What do you like?
Like off the top of my head, I love Coen Brother movies. Can we talk about those?
No, you chose Star Wars.
You basically brought Star Wars to a nerd fight.
Yeah.
It's a real. What?
Because all these people are always talking about how great it is, and every time I watch it, it's like, we're going to ignore the Asian racist aliens in the prequels. No, it's
That's
fine.
true.
It's just,
That
it's a
is-
prequel.
No, that
It's
was
not.
terrible.
That was-
But okay, if you liked A New Hope and Empire,
Yeah, because they're characters in there. They're people. Like,
So
they
then-
try and they fail, and then in Jedi, they just become super gods, and it's all, like, there's one good scene in Jedi. There's one really great scene, and it's when Darth Vader becomes a human, and he throws the Empire down the fucking thing. And he's like, oh, he has his redemption. The rest of the fucking movie is just Luke being cool.
what about when Luke, in defense of the threat to his sister,
Just does cool shit.
submits to, like he's trying to become this like calm and peaceful Jedi, and he lets rage take him over. Why is that not interesting?
Not in the way they portrayed it, no.
See, and that's also that moment is what I wanted to see that character become. I wanted to see him.
You didn't like peaceful Luke? I like the idea that he won through non-violence. That was a very bold move for a blockbuster
No,
movie.
I'm tired of Jedi. Like, okay, first of all, if Mace Windu's still alive and he comes back and he's just been fucking hiding out doing nothing.
Mace Windu's not alive.
Yoda,
we gotta fill in that
Yoda
blank. He's
fucking-
definitely gonna
Why
come
is Mace
back at
Windu
some
not
point.
alive? Why?
Why is he? Where the heck is he been?
Because
That's so
Darth
stupid.
Maul got
He's
cut.
an active Jedi.
Darth
He
Maul
wouldn't just-
got cut in half and thrown down. He fell down a thing in two pieces, and he was still alive.
Just
Mace
because
Windu
that
got
stupid
fucking
thing happened doesn't mean this
Star
other
Wars. Of
thing
course it's gonna
isn't-
happen.
It has to be true.
Palpatine fell into the middle of a Death Star. He was still alive.
And that's dumb.
Mace Windu got essentially tasered and then fell. He's a Jedi. We've seen them fall from insane heights and be able to use the Force to correct their landing. He
We
could still be
we
alive.
also saw a bunch of them that are supposed to be awesome get shot by clone troopers where they can, like, Yoda knew
Yeah.
it was going to happen. Why are those guys dead?
That shit made no sense. The only way that would
Almost
have
like
made
this
sense.
franchise sucks.
No, no, the franchise doesn't suck. They just made
Sucks.
really poor decisions.
Yes.
Because, like you said, the Mandalorian.
Over and over again. At
No,
a
but
certain
you're
point,
saying the Mandalorian is filling the potential of what Star Wars can be.
Okay,
so
so-
the franchise doesn't suck. The films can and
Well,
must a bunch
okay,
of them
fine.
have.
They are an untapped potential
Whoa,
player.
whoa, hand in the air.
Oh, go.
Can I just say that I find it really interesting that you think Star Wars starts sucking as soon as it becomes a superhero movie?
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with the fact that superhero movies are insane. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it becomes boring when it's a derivative thing I've seen a million times. You're 100% right. And it doesn't do anything interesting after that.
This is fun.
So we can all agree, though, that the world of Star Wars is cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for people who love lore, and I'm not one of those people, I get why they love this shit. Because every day it's a new fucking world where like, oh, on this planet they do this stuff, and they build this crystal, and this they do. Awesome.
One thing I will agree with.
care.
Okay, first of all, have you watched all the movies?
Yes.
So
Several
it doesn't
times.
suck hard enough for you to be like,
I watch
I'm done with
everything.
this.
That does not count. You can't use that argument. Kedrock tries it all the time. It's like, I watch everything, man.
But why would you continue doing that?
God, I'm a fucking sadist. I don't know. I watch fucking garbage.
I mean, that's fair.
I watch everything under the assumption that you can't discredit anything, because if you want to be a good filmmaker, you should watch everything with an open mind, and then you go in and you watch and you're like, oh, this is fucking terrible.
And for this moment, because you wouldn't be able to defend your argument
Exactly.
as purely as you
Yeah.
are right now.
So I do think that the
a lot.
franchise has a ton of untapped potential.
Yeah, like Terminator.
I think that. Oh no. Oh, that could have been one of my hot takes. Terminator ended at the end of Judgment Day.
Yeah,
Period.
yeah.
Stop that shit.
It should have. Just like
The
Empire was
miniseries
a
that they
great
did
end.
though, that like one season was so good.
Of what?
Terminator.
Sarah Connor?
Yeah, the Sarah Connor
I haven't
Carnival.
bothered.
tried.
I actually see. Okay, so to prove the point that I was just trying to make with you,
Yeah.
who for some reason keeps watching things he hates,
And things he likes. He's a complicated man.
past T2, that was such a strong ending that I haven't bothered. I've been like, nope, it ends there for me.
But you're not getting all the joy of getting mad at this
No,
franchise for all the decisions
it's
now.
a blessful ignorance. It's a very
How are
blissful.
you supposed to get on this
intentional, willful
pedestal and be
ignorance.
better than your betters?
The high horse is so high.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're terrible. I wouldn't have done that. That's the joy, is it not, of watching garbage?
But okay, so you've admitted that 2 of the movies you liked. The rest of them are trash.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I
are you gonna sit here and defend Han Solo to me?
I haven't watched it.
Exactly, because you know it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, that's fair.
I like Rogue One though.
Gotcha.
Rogue One. I
Do you like
enjoyed.
Rogue One, or you like the last 15 minutes?
No.
I understand loving the last 15 minutes. It's the best Darth Vader fan film I've ever fucking seen.
I enjoy Rogue One. It's full of holes. It's absolutely full of holes.
And like you have,
so many.
You have blind Donnie Yen, and he's boring. You have Forrest Whitaker doing the
Crime.
craziest voice I've ever heard. I don't remember what he did in that movie. Like, it's just repeatedly boring character to do a plot hole that's literally fixing a hole. like, it's fucking so boring.
I had a lot of issues with, what was her name?
Jin?
Jin?
Jin
Erso.
Exactly.
Jin Erso.
You love this franchise, and you can't remember this fucking
I
shit.
know it. It just slipped my mind for a second. I can't remember everything all the time. Jeez. Her motivation made no sense. Like, it made sense for a bit, and then her sudden shift to,
Yeah.
like, follow me and like, embracing hope and stuff, because, okay, her dad was kept by the Empire as, like, you're going to do all this horrible stuff because
And then
we're bastards.
she learned that key piece of information that he's been helping them.
Yeah, but then he dies at the hands of the rebels.
But at that point, the whole point of the shift is that part doesn't matter because it's about more than either of them, which is what she learns from him.
Yeah, but that wasn't-
And the sacrifice he made and his whole family. And when she realizes that, she's like, this is bigger than either of us.
You know what I loved about that movie more than anything is that they didn't make it a love story. It felt like they were going to, and then they didn't, and I was like, nice.
You know, it's a great movie when you have to give it points for doing stuff it doesn't do.
Okay, on that note, I think we're gonna finish Star Wars because that was pretty good.
No, they'll never finish Star Wars.
No, not as Disney.
Yeah, exactly.
Roz, you want to set us up?
I do. So my hot take that I'm bringing today, I'm going to shuffle away from the movies that we are excitedly sharing our thoughts on and get into TV stuff. I want to talk about Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I know that not everybody watches Game of Thrones or was huge into it, but it was a phenomenon across the world. And people loved a lot of the characters of that show, whether you read the books or not. I have read as much as I could.
How much did you get through?
I'm caught up on the books.
I read one book, and I read the first 100 pages of the second book 3 different times, and had to put it down because it was so fucking boring. I couldn't get through it. That man's writing style is just
I am
awful.
100% with you, but I am apparently a masochist, and I could not stop.
And I was trying to I love when there's source material. I'm one of those people who likes comparing the thing to the thing.
yeah.
And I was trying to get the full scope of it to know all of the the elements of the story so I could see how well the show was being executed. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, what a waste of time that would have
I
been
mean,
too.
I totally get you. I also do not want to know what the guard cares about what the meal is today.
Yep, nope, terrible.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So,
I
are we
want to
sticking
say
to the show?
I'm going to talk about the show, but it all relates to the storyline
Okay.
in all of Game of Thrones. TV show is mostly what people are most familiar with, but books included. And I would say that the best female character on Game of Thrones is Cersei Lannister. And not only is she the best female character, she is the best character in that entire show.
Which is impressive because all his female characters otherwise suck.
I totally agree with that. Daenerys is a terrible character
about
in both
Arya?
the books and the show.
Oh, she's not bad. She's not bad. I'll give you credit on the Arya one.
She's just not the best character in the show.
Yes.
And she's not the best female character in the show either. Cersei is the best character.
no question
Hands
about
down, completely the best character in the show.
So this is really hard to...
Wait, there's good reasons though.
Okay, go, sorry.
So, some of the reasons that Cersei is the best. A, she makes a promise and she forking sticks to it. Those promises are terrible. She's an awful person. But when she says she's going to do something, she does it. She is making it happen. I love that. I appreciate that. Goal-oriented. She's a real doer. She's a boss bitch. I'm in.
Commitment is important.
Right?
And also being committed could be
Right?
important.
If you're going to drink a glass of wine and then you're going to plot evil murder and then you can get both done, I love it. She is also a mom. She's a crazy, amazing mom. She is the mama bear of the show. She doesn't have dragons. She has beautiful little humans that she needs to get out into the world. Who
Beautiful?
Questionable.
She thinks they're beautiful. She banged her brother to make these beautiful humans that she loves so much, and she needs to protect them. And they are soft and squishy. They're not dragons. They can't take care of themselves. She has to protect them. It's her job to give them the life that she wants for them.
Doesn't she fail at that though?
Yeah, 100%. She fails all the time. She fails so hard that
As
at
a
the end
mother.
of the show,
Terrible mother.
at the end of the show, she is literally buried in what she wanted most. That is crazy. It's so
that
good.
one element is very cool about her for sure. Like that I mean...
Everything she ever wanted crumbles on top of her and literally crushes her to death.
So
Oh, that's a
thematically, the
dream.
show works so
Live
well.
the dream.
Well, here's the thing though. I don't think that she wanted the castle. She wanted the power.
But for her, that because it was the throne that represented that power to her.
metaphor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But still, like it was like the show was called Game of Thrones. I mean, the book wasn't.
The throne should have killed her then.
But the whole,
Oh, that
but
would've
she
been
didn't
awesome.
want,
She, like, falls
but
on the
she didn't
sword
want
throne.
just that throne. She wanted everyone in the whole to fear her, and it had to be everything. Anyway, so she gets what she wants because Jaime also comes back to her in the end. She still gets him. He goes on this huge redemption arc, and you're like, he's gonna make it. He's gonna get away from her. No, he doesn't, because she's so awesome. She comes back to him in the end.
Just that good. That can't deny that ass. I gotta come all the way back to my sister.
I thought that was as a viewer, I thought that was the weakest, most unsatisfying thing, was seeing Jaime not choose something and not learning from all of his experiences.
Because none of
But
them
very
learn.
real to humans.
It is very real. Is that people tend to choose their abuser, which is super shitty, but true.
If this is going back to Star Wars.
You don't have to
but,
raise your hand.
I'm just excited. But if that's reasonable for Jaime to do that, then why is it not reasonable for Luke to have done that in his arc?
Wait, what?
Go back on his development.
If he went back on his development, he would have gone to Tashi Station and picked up some power converters.
That'd have been so great. He's like, fuck being a Jedi, I'm gonna be a farmer. And we just follow him for like a whole movie. He's like, no, I'm a farmer. I
If
don't
he went
care.
back on his development, he would have, because he said he was idolizing going to the Academy, and what the Academy is to join the Empire. So if he went back in his development, he would have turned evil, which I think is what would have been the more interesting choice for Luke, is in that moment. Because if you're going by what's written and you use that for like through lines to make like, oh, good payoff, when once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny.
Yeah.
The moment that he chooses rage to defend his sister against Vader, if he would have turned evil and became the villain in the new movies, that
It would have rhymed. Then he could have murdered a bunch of kids just like his dad did.
Yeah, then it would have also been that the bloodline of fucking Skywalkers was actually this horrible.
Okay, we're
shitty
still talking
bloodline.
about Star Wars, and it's my topic.
Sorry,
now.
sorry,
I'm
Game of
sorry,
Thrones,
that was my fault.
Game
That was my fault.
of Thrones.
Sorry.
Kills
I just
kids
wanted to
too.
say, speaking of evil stuff, is what I also love about Cersei. is that she is evil and owns it the whole time because she's like, yeah, I know, whatever.
Yeah, she doesn't make any
Screw you guys.
reservations
I'm gonna
about
do
that
my
shit.
thing and what I want for my family. And she has Jamie with her, and they are this like evil power couple. In the beginning, when they're banging in the tower, and then Bran falls from the wall, and you're just like, you guys fucking suck. And they're like, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Screw you guys, stop us.
Yeah, they're like
And
a
no one
tabloid
can.
couple.
No one can stop her.
They're the
Evil power
Kardashians.
couple.
Yeah, they're the Kardashians in the medieval times.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
whatever,
evil
you
power
love to
couples-
hate us.
Evil power couples are kind of a cool and not explored enough thing.
Yeah.
I thought House of Cards was doing it really well until we all learned how horrible of a person Kevin Spacey is.
Until it
But
got too real.
it did. It did.
And then there was generally shitty. Oops.
But the story, aside from that, the story was really cool. Like because they were both sort of like, there was no real redeeming
awful.
characteristics. They were just awful.
Fucking terrible
But
people.
watching their journey was engaging as hell.
And you're just like, oh, terrible people are
And I
great.
think that but that their dynamic wasn't, because it was constant and it was a consistent thing throughout that, versus Cersei and Jaime like completely separated, and he went on this like redemption arc that didn't pay off at all. And
It did in a different way, just not what you wanted.
sure, which I guess to me felt like a lot of wasted time.
I get that.
Isn't that the summation of that fucking franchise? A lot of wasted time.
I just
Game of
wasted my
Thrones,
time.
what a bunch of wasted time. Like I wanted to see, like, there was so much shit that went wrong. Like it's hard to talk about Game of Thrones with any kind of consistency anyway, because 1 through 6 was a good story that was making sense along the way, and then 7, 8, it was 8 seasons, right?
Yeah.
Overall, whatever.
I forget.
The last
We have a
two
fact
seasons-
checker.
The last 2 seasons that didn't have source material to go from, just shit.
And yeah,
like,
you can't
it just-
stick the
But they were
landing.
still
Who fucking
talking
cares?
with George
Huh?
R. R.
If you
Martin.
can't stick the landing, like, who cares, right? Like, that's
Yes.
the big thing. It's like,
Yeah.
who cares how great all this was, because
But
I know where it leads.
But that is very true, because look at how everyone's opinion of Game of Thrones now. What-
Yeah.
I
Ryan!
was going to say, by even going off book, they missed one of my favorite female characters from the series, which is the seething, furious, murderous zombie that Catelyn Stark turns into,
Yes!
Lady Stoneheart in the books, who was a pretty rad character.
Yeah, she's too interesting.
She was
for
just
that
like a
TV show.
murderous zombie that was on a quest to like kill everyone ever, basically.
Another
Which is
great
a pretty
mama
cool
bear.
character motivation.
Love it.
She was, yeah, okay.
So,
Great mama bear and a good parent.
but like talking about evil couples, like I think you guys have even dressed up as Dr. Girlfriend and the Monarch.
Yeah.
Great evil couple.
It's fantastic. I think like that series alone subverts so much in so many genres.
But there's superheroes in there.
There's superheroes in there, but it's not about that. I mean, it started as like a Hanna-Barbera tongue-in-cheek show that was like making fun of those old cartoons, and it evolved into something so much bigger.
Talking
But-
about Venture Brothers, for those who don't know.
Yes,
It's Rose.
which I just caught up on, and it gets so good. But I think the villains are like often the most interesting part of superhero stuff, and I think that a lot of people feel that way.
Well, I love the Harley Quinn show. Speaking of evil couples too, like her breakup with Joker. Wait, is everyone caught up? Who watches it?
Oh yeah, I've watched all. Yeah.
Okay,
only the
so
2
like
seasons, right? Yeah.
maybe awesome evil power couple with Ivy next. Like that'd be cool.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Make
No,
it gay, cowards.
Hopefully.
that show is great.
Takes them
Harley Quinn
forever. They
cartoon
just keep
is
hinting at it. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, they
yeah.
might be gay next season.
But like, so where do you think it would be more interesting to? Oh, and Tyrion Lannister is the best character in Game of Thrones. But
No,
Agree to disagree.
That big
Cersei's the
silent
best
guy. I
because
like
she's
that
the
dude.
only character I would let throw wine in my face.
oh, actually, sorry. No, you know who my favorite is Varys, and he had the shittiest end. But like, he
Oh,
was.
fucking Fester, the bald dude.
Yeah. Yeah. He was
right.
great.
I mean, I couldn't stop just to be like, that's Uncle Fester. I can't take advice from this dude.
Oh man, he was just like, he actually had the best agenda. He actually had the good of the most people at heart, the ruling of the kingdom, like properly.
So boring.
Yeah,
But
politics sucks.
well, he wasn't
right?
boring. He did everything in such a devious way. People like, somehow no one ever suspected him of all the shit that he was pulling
Until
off.
they murdered him for suspecting him.
But that was
kind of a big
until
deal.
until the psycho lady went
Until
off
that
her
part,
fucking
he was-
rocker and killed him for something that was like that was still him dying for what was right. He found the rightful heir to the throne. He was trying to uphold like a standard. I really liked Varys.
Unless you can walk that walk of shame and come out of it still fucking queen of the whole thing, I don't know, man. That is crazy. She's so awesome.
She pulled off some of the most devious stuff in the whole show, and with like the coolest demeanor. She was like, yeah, obviously I fucking did that.
Yeah,
I
Lena
mean,
Headey fucking killed it.
It was
Right?
dope when she like basically nuked the church full
just
of people.
sipping Chardonnay, just like bitches. That's so great.
Sept of Baelor?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool. That was dope.
She like looked people in the eyeballs and said, "I will be the last thing you see before you die." And that happened. She made that happen.
Okay, I have to go now.
Shit.
That's fair.
Some gangster stuff right there.
What I was really wishing for though was like with the White Walkers and like this giant thing that's built up over the entire series, instead of it culminating so shittily, having her like swear to help them and then like she goes back on her word
Of course
and
she
they get
does.
fucked, but then they come back to like I would have loved to see a retreat from the north. What the hell's that place called?
The Wall,
No. The Stark place.
household? I forget.
Winterfell.
Winterfell, thank you. If they retreated, if they got pushed back, they lost Winterfell, and they had to go all the way back to King's Landing. And then all the armies are like within King's Landing.
Okay.
And they're
We've
on
been
their
talking a lot about
doorstep.
Game of Thrones. Trevor, we still have to do your topic.
Okay, sorry. We went off topic with yours. Okay, so I posit this, that the horror genre peaked in the 80s, that everything since, especially when it comes to franchises, has been mediocre at best.
I think that's hilarious. I think that's like the funniest thing, especially because horror in the 80s was fucking hilarious. Like it was barely horror, it was like horror comedy the whole time.
Yeah.
It's more entertaining, 100%. But like quality-wise, like come on, all the characters in every '80s horror movie they're straight garbage.
Oh my God. Ryan has an opinion or
He's
something
gonna
from the
lose it. Better
chat.
go to him.
I was just going to say, no judgment inherent in this, but for better or worse, I feel like horror has shifted from being some scary monster is scary to some metaphor for a social issue is scary.
I
Sure,
think
and-
that's ridiculous though, because like the whole slasher genre started with The Town That Dreaded Sundown, which is literally about sundown towns.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah,
what?
Yeah. Sundown
Context,
towns?
explain. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sundown towns are towns in the States where when the sun goes down, you go out and lynching happens.
Yeah,
Whoa, fuck.
yeah.
No,
Not good.
no.
Yeah. So like I think that's ridiculous. Like the whole slasher genre is like kind of been that. It started as that a lot. And like even like the first Friday the 13th was about way more than
Yep.
just that. And then it became this like comedic, ridiculous thing. So no. But
So no, not a good argument. Here's why I think this. I think that they aren't able nowadays to. It seems like everything nowadays is inspired by. Wouldn't it be cool if? Like there's a lot of this scene will be impactful, and then they can't build a good movie around it. Like they can't finish this like just movie after movie with like shitty ending that doesn't work. What?
Which movies have shitty endings that are recent that are horror?
I didn't make a list.
Okay.
I just also want to bring up the fact that, look, we've played some ghost hunting video games together.
Truth.
And sometimes some people on the team, Trevor, get very scared by spooky things.
So.
And so that maybe the spooky things are not your favorite, and maybe horror movies have gotten scarier.
They're too intense for you?
No, I like horror to be partially removed. I find it the most enjoyable when it's something that isn't everyday life. Everyday life to me is already horrifying. Why would I want to watch a horror movie? I look at those as like, if you want to deal with like psychological issues and that kind of things, that's what psychological thrillers are for. If you want to make a horror movie that's got really cool effects and yeah, I like a little bit of camp. Like I love the Nightmare on Elm Street series. I love the Friday the 13th series. I love
You're
the Halloween
still making
series.
those movies.
But yeah,
No, but that's the thing. They're remaking those movies, and that's further evidence that horror nowadays is not good enough standing on its own, that they have to try and remake old stuff, and they don't pull it off. They have the same problem that Disney does, is they had a golden era, which was the 80s for horror. The golden era for Disney was like Little Mermaid to Lion King. 4 movies in a row, and what are they doing now? Let's remake it and make it live action, and it just falls short every fucking time. And it's happening now. You've got Nightmare on Elm Street remake. You have Friday the 13th remake, terrible. Halloween remake, terrible. You know
Oh, whoa! The Halloween
Terrible.
remake was actually pretty good.
the Rob Zombie remake?
No.
Oh,
Awful.
no, the most recent one.
That wasn't a remake. That was a continuation
It was
of a
technically
good series
a
from the
sequel.
80s.
And it actually
Dead?
completely erased
Evil Dead?
half
The
of
Evil Dead remake is fucking great.
Yeah,
Better than the first.
Where it rains blood at the
Whoa,
end?
whoa.
Yes.
Yeah, it
I
was
don't think
great.
it's better.
But the first one,
different.
It wasn't better. It was good, though.
Evil Dead isn't
Good.
horror though. Like the first
TV
The
show
first
is
one,
like
though,
that.
the first one is a horror. The very first Evil Dead is kind of a horror.
The first one, they tried to make a horror movie,
Yeah.
and the
It
audiences
just
laughed
sucked.
enough that that's why the second one is essentially a remake
Yeah, because
of
they're like,
the
oh,
first one.
we suck at making movies. We should just
So
make
let's
this
lean
goofy.
into it, yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so all of these remakes are to me evidence that people can't make good horror now. They don't have the creative teams, they don't have the writers, and practical effects. Everything was in camera back then. Now everyone relies on CG, and there's a separation
People are still
that doesn't
making
make any
great
sense.
horror
Conjuring
films
is a
that don't.
whole like practical effects franchise where there's like, look, we did this practically.
The Conjuring is a superhero franchise.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
yeah.
and it's modern horror, and by your definition of superhero franchises, you even think it's shit.
The Babadook is excellent.
But it's bad.
Hereditary is another all practical
Babadook, The
horror movie.
Descent.
Bad ending.
And
Yeah, but yeah, I can't defend Hereditary. I hate that movie.
Midsommar.
It's got problems.
Midsommar is also all practical. And my favorite little tidbit about that movie is that my tattoo artist has a mortician friend who watched that movie, and if you haven't seen it, it has a really graphic hammer to the head scene where someone has their like head completely obliterated by a hammer, and it's practical and it's fucking brutal. And the mortician friend was like, "No, that's legit. I've seen that exact thing happen."
Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
What about the Suspiria remake? That one's way better than the original.
I haven't watched that.
Yeah,
But
like-
I hate remakes. What?
I was just saying, how do you measure like better
Better?
than the original?
More enjoyable. They
But-
take a premise and they expand on it in a way that the original couldn't. The thematics are stronger. And both, I think, in
There's
Evil
something
Dead and
about-
Suspiria, those are cases that are completely true.
I think, well, they actually went horror movie with the Evil Dead remake, which is why I don't hate it, because they actually did something that the first one was originally trying to do and kind of pulled it off.
Did you like the TV show?
I
Evil
don't
Dead?
mind
Evil
it.
Dead TV show?
But that captures the spirit of the Evil Dead 2
Yeah,
and Army of
yeah.
Darkness properly. Okay, you had your hand up, so go ahead.
Oh, we're talking about movies, but you just said horror, period. So, like, I think it's ridiculous if we don't talk about video games and, like, what they have done for horror as a genre. They've, like, made it so...
Yeah, I was
It's like-
thinking I'm thinking film.
Yeah, that Resident Evil game, fuck that shit. Like, I can't even play it without being like, no,
No,
it's too
I think
much.
horror games, that's because the experience is you're interactive.
Yeah.
And then that, like, it's almost a different genre. Like, horror gaming is terrifying. Because the
different, but
consequences
it's
that
not-
you feel.
that different. And like also comics, like horror comics are doing amazing things right now. There's like so much within the horror genre. I think if you're just thinking about like campy horror, then maybe sure, we can put it in the 80s.
And I'm not
But-
even thinking I'm thinking horror films specifically is what I'm trying to say. That's why I'm saying like franchises and stuff.
Sure.
So wait, you don't think Paranormal Activity, like the first one, was any good? Ryan has opinions. His hand just shot in the air.
it was all right.
Well, I was just going to say, is it perhaps, I'm not saying this is or isn't the case, but is it perhaps that those 80s films, when you watched them, you were a kid, and so they were scarier because you were a kid, and now y'all grown up, and when you watch movies as an adult, they're not as scary?
You're for some reason assuming that I haven't watched movies more than once, which I don't understand why you don't.
No,
think
but I
don't
mean, I
watch things
think
ad nauseam.
your first watching of things and the time and place and headspace that you're in sort of
I would
informs
give
your perspective on them to a
I'd
certain
give
point.
that to Nightmare on Elm Street in that Okay, here's the thing.
like,
Nightmare on Elm Street as a premise, like coming from that time frame, when your killer's powers are strong in your dreams, and that's where he kills you, and then you have nightmares about that guy, and then now those nightmares are the most terrifying thing ever because that's where he kills and how he does. No one's come fucking close to making that real.
Yeah,
'cause
Krueger's
holy
the best
shit.
monster of all time. Let's be honest. Like that's the fucking best premise ever.
Holy shit. It
Yeah.
scared the shit out of me as a kid. Freddy nightmares, if you've never had a Freddy nightmare,
I've never.
I
had a Freddy
recommend
nightmare.
it, I guess. Holy shit, is it terrifying? Because you wake up and you think you could have just died.
No, just zombie nightmares, never Freddy nightmares.
Oh man, Freddy nightmares are the worst.
Nope.
Like, just the worst.
Zombies suck. You gotta do cardio in those nightmares.
I just have nightmares like this.
But like, if you look at any kind of franchises that they tried to attempt since that, it's been like Scream. First movie was good, and then everything beyond that.
No,
was,
not true. The fourth movie is so fucking good.
Scream?
It literally goes back to like the original formula, and it subverts it. It's great.
And Scream 3 has a great Jay and Silent Bob cameo.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Got nothing. I don't
But
know.
like
It's not a good
Saw,
movie.
Saw was good for the first movie, and then
Saw's never been great.
I enjoyed the first one, and it wasn't great.
Yeah,
But
studio
like,
But it was
films
a
are
new
garbage,
premise.
but like art house horror has never been better. Like it's literally at its peak of like The Witch, It Follows, Babadook. Like it's just like one after the other of like,
Babadook.
this is incredible.
dude,
This is
Babadook was
great.
fun, and again, like I thought that had a shite ending.
What?
What?
Yeah,
was wrong with the
I
ending?
thought that it was like it.
It never ends. That's the thing.
Eh.
Use is always there.
Yeah, but it's just
The
like
mental
it didn't
illness doesn't
it didn't
just
have
go
like
away.
any
Yeah.
punch. The climax didn't feel that climactic. It just
It,
there were
You know,
moments in it that
you know,
were like
I just want to
really
say we are also
scary.
talking about North American cinema
Yes.
because
Yes. Oh, because like
The Wailing is
Korean
so
and
good. If we're talking about
Japanese
or
horror
Mother
has
Holy
been
shit.
amazing for a
yeah,
very long
both
time.
mothers. I like Aronofsky's.
But that's what I'm saying. Okay, yeah, I should say, like North American horror
Yes.
peaked in the 80s because even for a long period of
Thrill me.
time.
Because Martyrs is the best horror film ever made.
Well, and some of the
was
best horror
2004.
movies in North America were remakes of either Korean or Japanese horror movies. Like
Yeah.
people were like, "Oh, it's really good." It's like, yeah, but it's a fucking copy.
Yeah, but The Ring is better than Ringu. Gore Verbinski made a better movie. I don't care when people are like, oh, it's not original. It's like,
But
it's
The
better.
Grudge is not better than Ju-on.
Yeah, but The Grudge is bad on both levels. It's like about a cat boy.
But the battle movie that they did,
Oh, that was
it
awesome.
was so good.
So
what?
stupid,
The
trashy.
Grudge versus The Ring, the Japanese one.
Oh,
it
I've
is
not seen that.
Oh, it's awesome.
amazing.
They have like a fight. And it's just like the Avengers, but with horror movie
Oh, I'm
characters.
totally into
love
that.
it.
That sounds amazing.
Sounds like we've come full circle.
Okay, this has been a lot of fun, but before we go, I want to ask the chat. I should not look at Ryan, but I should look at you guys. Quickly, we're going to do a little bit of a quick fire thing if we can. What are your guys' most controversial opinions on something from pop culture? If you throw them into the chat right now, Ryan will sound them off, and we can maybe agree or get a little
Yeah,
outraged.
quick one-word responses.
Yeah, what do you got? Anything?
Agree? Disagree? Hot takes abound. I almost talked about how Inception is dumb and the ending is lazy, not ambiguous.
So, one from Jin XVII, who some suspect is Alan, is Blade is the only superhero movie that matters.
Goddamn right.
Accurate.
Blade is the only superhero movie that matters. I think it matters significantly because of what it started, but I don't think it's the only one that matters.
Matrix copied Blade.
got-
Start that question.
I'm just gonna answer this one. Jar Jar ain't that bad wrong.
Jar Jar's bad on so many levels.
Yeah.
Should have been.
Everyone
Darth
is
Jar Jar.
entitled to their opinion.
Holly doesn't like cheese. Cheyenne says Batman is the representation of the male ego and it sucks. I can see that.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of them.
Miriam
are.
and I 100% agree with this, is that Fire in the Sky is the scariest movie I've ever seen by far.
Fucking
That was
awesome movie.
Terrified me.
Ooh,
That
that's
is
a
my
great movie.
literal nightmare. Dude
Wait a
wakes
minute.
up in a
Fire in the
goo
Sky,
pod.
where the guy gets kidnapped by aliens.
He wakes up after being
so fucking
abducted
good.
by aliens in like a goo pod. It was like the Matrix before the Matrix.
Yeah, it's like
Little
92,
gray aliens
93.
probe him.
It's
It's
so fucking
fucking
good.
We
terrible.
found something Ben likes.
How have I never heard of this
Oh
movie?
man. Oh,
It's like a
watch it
90s alien
tonight.
abduction film.
You will not be disappointed.
No, he doesn't like scary things.
Ash
Owen,
doesn't know.
Owen
I
says
do.
the best part
Oh,
of
you do.
2020
Yeah.
was
Oh.
hating the Mandalorian. That's an interesting
Whoa,
one.
whoa, whoa,
What? Say it again.
Killing it.
Say it again.
Owen says that the best part of 2020 was hating the Mandalorian.
Really?
Proud of himself for that take.
That's what it is.
You gotta go over
That's why
here
they
and
love
get
it.
the thing
Every
and then
week,
bring
a
it
new
over to this
adventure in
guy.
Star Wars errands.
It's Space Errands?
Yeah, that's perfect. What a perfect way to sum that show up. That's exactly it.
Capri says that Iron Man is way better than Captain America.
I mean, that's.
I think they both are bad.
I think that's.
Oranges and mandarins.
Wait, are you talking the movie or the character?
I don't know. I'm just reading what it says on the screen. I don't have additional
Iron
context.
Man's way better than Captain America. I would say, I mean, that's interesting that someone has that.
That's
take
gonna be a whole
because-
thing. Move on, Ryan, because he's gonna get into
okay.
it. He's gonna get into
Iron
it.
Man's a conservative hero.
Becky Don't Please says Karate Kid 3 is the best one.
Oh.
Is Hillary Swank? No,
Jerry
is
loved
that
Top
the Hillary
Gun,
Swank
That's
one?
like saying diarrhea is better than solid shit.
Chris O'Brien says that The Mandalorian Season 2 ending was brutal.
Yeah, that was some fan fiction nonsense
Yeah,
from Rogue One.
I didn't like it.
Holly says that Michael Jackson ain't that great.
Yeah, 90s Jackson's garbage. I'm sick of this black and white garbage people are
Also,
always
like
talking about.
100% a child molester. I am sorry, but a fully grown adult male does not sleep with naked boys in their fucking bed if they ain't some kind
Macaulay
of
Culkin
chomo.
defends them.
That shit's fucked. There is a vociferous online community of people who are like strident MJ defenders. It's wild.
Should have
out
just
there.
did this where you just read out things and react violently.
How to Train Your Goat
No, they're wrong.
says that the second and third Matrix movies were great.
No.
Oh, that's funny because that's not at AFL. That's not a controversial opinion. There's some people who agree with you.
Not great,
Those
really?
People are wrong.
They don't think it's great though. They just think it's not dog shit, right?
I think it's that the problem
I think
is
it's dog
they're
shit.
all bad.
Gene has an interesting take.
Let's hear it.
Gene says Stargate over Star Wars or Star Trek.
What the fuck is Stardate is my answer.
Stargate.
Stargate?
Stardate. I thought you said Stardate.
Stargate.
I was like, never heard of it.
It's a space dating show, Trevor.
No, if we're talking movies,
Wow, a space
no.
dating
I
show
love
sounds
that.
really good.
Right?
I think I would
Space.
watch the
I'd
heck out
watch
of that.
that.
Okay.
And that's,
Okay.
that's all I got.
Okay.
That's all I
That's
got.
lots.
Okay,
That's good.
that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you to everybody in the chat.
So, we'll have to check the judges' scorecards to see who won this, and really, that's a bunch of bullshit because there were no winners.
Everyone
Given
loses.
first place to Ben and Jesse tied for first place.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right. I was gonna say it's not actually a competition, and thank you guys for joining us. This has been a lot of fun. Stay tuned for more Filthy Talk and more from AFL. Until next time, stay filthy.